Tund woke to a jungle stillness that felt unnatural. No bird calls, no rustling leaves, only the low hiss of mist as it curled through the underbrush outside Sifa's hut. He had barely slept. Ifeoma's final video still played on a loop in his mind. Her last words etched into his conscience like fire. Don't let them turn Africa into a weapon. Obasi was already outside, pacing near the dying embers of the cooking fire. Sifa stood barefoot on the edge of the clearing, her face tilted to the sky, as if reading invisible signals in the shifting clouds. "You feel it too, don't you?" she said softly as Tund stepped out. He nodded, like something's waiting. "No," she replied. "It's moving." Sifa led them to an underground chamber, hidden beneath the village's oldest hut. The air inside was thick and damp. Clay jars lined the walls, some cracked open to reveal charred bones and scrolls wrapped in hide. At the far end, a mural covered the stone, a depiction of the mask in 3 stages: unbroken, fractured, and consumed in fire. This is where the elders stored the truth, not the one you find in textbooks, the one they tried to bury. Obasi ran his fingers along a series of carved names etched in the stone. These names, they're all supposed to be dead. Military men, mercenaries, politicians. Tund stepped back. A name near the bottom of the wall sent a chill up his spine. Tunde Ajayi, his father. Sifa explained what little she knew. Tunde Ajayi had once been stationed in Congo as part of a Pan-African peacekeeping unit during the final years of the Cold War. But records of his deployment vanished. Rumors had spread of soldiers participating in secret experiments involving ancestral resonance. "The mask doesn't just remember the wearer," Sifa said. "It absorbs legacy. If your father touched it, it remembers you too." Tund staggered out of the chamber, air choking in his lungs. Obasi followed. "You okay?" "He told me he was a translator. That's all. Just a translator. Maybe he was. Maybe he didn't have a choice. Nobody comes back from the mask clean." That night, Tund couldn't sleep. Memories long buried clawed their way to the surface. His father's blank stares, his muttered Yoruba prayers after waking from nightmares. The mask wasn't just a story now. It was his inheritance. The next morning, they left Kabwita. Sifa stayed behind. "My path ends here," she said, placing the spiral charm around Tund's neck. "Yours goes where the dead still whisper." They traveled east, deeper into rebel territory, toward an old Belgian mine listed in Ifeoma's notes. Satellite images showed recent activity. It was supposed to be decommissioned. They crossed into South Kasai under heavy fog, using forged credentials and Obasi's network of contacts. At one checkpoint, a soldier recognized Tund's face from a printed watch list. Guns were drawn. Obasi threw a smoke canister and dragged Tund into the underbrush. They ran until their lungs burned. Hidden in a dry riverbed, Obasi clutched his side, bleeding from a graze. "We don't have much time," he gasped. "They know you're here, and they're closing in." They reached the mine at dusk. It was nestled in a crater, surrounded by rusting equipment and armed guards wearing unmarked uniforms. From a ridge, Tund used binoculars to scope the operation. Trucks entering a massive tunnel, heat signatures indicating a lab below ground. Symbols matching the mask were painted on cargo crates. "They're moving something," Tund said. "Maybe pieces of the mask, or people who've worn it, or both," Obasi muttered. That night, they snuck in through a ventilation shaft. Inside, the mine was worse than they imagined. Metal corridors wired with surveillance, rooms filled with restrained test subjects, and a chamber with walls covered in ancestral markings. Tund filmed everything. A man in a lab coat passed, speaking French into a recorder. Subject 43 shows signs of residual possession, increased aggression, memory bleed from previous hosts. Tund's breath caught. On a nearby monitor, a still image of Ifeoma's face flickered. Labeled, Subject 21, deceased. Suddenly, alarms blared. "We're compromised," Obasi shouted. They ran, weaving through corridors as red lights flashed. A door slammed behind them, sealing off their exit. From another hallway, a figure emerged. Tall, masked, moving with unnatural fluidity. Tunde raised his phone, filming. The figure turned. The mask on its face shimmered, ancient, golden, cracked. Its eyes were wrong. Ajayi, it whispered, in a voice that was many voices. Obasi fired. The bullets passed through the figure like mist. Tunde and Obasi bolted for a side shaft, crawling through a collapsing tunnel as the mine shook with the rumble of something awakening. They emerged into jungle night, gasping. Behind them, the mine was burning. Tunde clutched the footage, heart pounding. The truth was out. But now they had unleashed something older than any of them knew. To be continued.